Reading from Srila Prabhupada's Leela-amrita as it is. The real thing is that you are feeling alone, and because you are so to say, child, you have become nervous. Otherwise, for a preacher, there is no difficulty anywhere, irrespective of climate and conditions. I came here in the month of December, and as my country is warmer to you, similarly your country is colder to me. I am also in diseased condition. When I first came to your country, I passed through practically all the seasons. I came here in 1965 September, and I remained in the northern portion of your country, namely New York, Penn and Mass, etc., continually from September 65 to December 66. And you know how much severe cold is New York City. I passed through snow on the New York street, so certainly I wasn't very much in comfortable situation. Still I had the strength of mind and I continued to stay. Similarly, if you have strength of mind, you can stay always in India, even in the most inconvenient condition. Letter to Achyutananda. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What's the date? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtapraye Shabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11 and Text 35. Purvasya Adau Paradhasya Purvasya Adau Paradhasya Brahmo Nama Mahan Abhu Brahmo Namna Mahan Abhu Kalpaha Yatra Abhavat Brahma Kalpo Yatra Bhavat Brahma Shabda Brahmeti Yam Viduhu Shabda Brahmeti Yam Viduhu Purvasyado Paradhasya Brahmo Nama Mahanabhu Kalpo Yatra Bhavat Brahma Shabda Brahmeti Yam Vibhuhu. Purvasya, of the first half, Adau, in the beginning, Para Ardhasya, of the superior half, Brahma, Brāhma-kalpa, Nama, of the name, Mahan, very great, Abhu, was manifest, Kalpaha, millennium, Yatra, whereupon, Abhava, appeared Brahma, Lord Brahma, Shabda Brahma Das, Yam, which, Viduhu, they know. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahma-kalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Please repeat, in the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahma-kalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to Padma Purana, Prabhaskanda, in 30 days of Brahma, many kalpas take place, such as the Varaha-kalpa and Pitru-kalpa. 30 days make 1 month of Brahma, beginning from the full moon to the disappearance of the moon. 12 such months complete 1 year, and 50 years complete 1 parardha, or 1/2 the duration of the life of Brahma. The Shvetavaraha appearance of the Lord is the first birthday of Brahma. The birth date of Brahma is in the month of March, according to Hindu astronomical calculation. This statement is reproduced from the explanation of Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. The sense the Bhaktivedanta purporto madhyanatimirandasya jananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam ena Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Parishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the appearance of Brahma in Brahmanama Mahanado, in a kalpa called Brahma-kalpa. Brahma's 1 day, that means 12 hours, is considered 1 kalpa. In that kalpa, there are 1000 Mahayugas, and similar time for his night. And that night is also 1 kalpa. And so, in Brahma's 30 days, obviously there are many kalpas. So there is a Brahma-kalpa where Lord Brahma appears. And it is mentioned here, Shabda Brahmeti Yam Viduhu. And the birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. It is known as Shabda Brahma. What is this Shabda Brahma? The Brahman in Shabda, in sound form. We hear this word Brahman. What is this Brahman? It is a very favorite word of the Mayavadi philosophers. When Lord Chaitanya went to Varanasi, there was a devotee by name Chandrasekhar Acharya. He complains to Lord Chaitanya that in this city I am only hearing Brahman and mind control. I don't hear any Krishna's name. Maybe that is because of my prarabdha karma that I have to live in this city. He says like that. So Brahman means the greatest, and Brahman also means all pervading. So these Mayavadis, what they think, something must be greatest, and that also should be all-pervading. That means it must be an impersonal force. there is some power is there, there's some light is there, and that is very big, very great. Actually, Brahma Jyoti is very big, unlimited actually. You will not be able to measure. Brahma Jyoti means immeasurable, and the depth and the pervasiveness is not easy to comprehend. So they think that yes, the Brahma Jyoti matches the description of Brahman. Must be very greatest. Yes, it is certainly greatest, and it is all pervading. So they try to manipulate all the Vedas. They also believe in Shabda Brahma. Vedas, they contain Shabda Brahma. The Brahman in Shabda form, in terms of the various sentences, various sounds. In this world, those sounds may be represented in our day-to-day language, in our alphabets, but it is Shabda Brahma. Anybody who comes in touch with this Brahman in the form of sound, his life changes, his heart changes, and his purification begins. Otherwise, the transcendental realm is impossible. It is impossible for the senses that we have. Even by accident, you don't get an idea that we are spirit souls or we have a life beyond this world, even by accident, because these senses cannot perceive. That's a limitation, that's all. That's a limitation. Sometimes I think we discussed previously, we used to have phones. They can only make local calls. That instrument is like that. And then we used to try some STD. STD means you don't know, to not local, to other cities. I mean, this is our generation. So as children, what we used to do, silently we used to try to press the other city's code. If you want to dial up Hyderabad or something, maybe 040 or something, you have to press and then press the number. That instrument will say king, 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 some sound it will create, and then it will not work. It is not designed for reaching to other cities. Similarly, our senses currently, our eyes, our ears, all these senses, they are not designed to reach to anything beyond this material manifestation. It's a limitation. So that's why people have no idea that there is next life, there was a previous life, and I continue to live, and then there is something that I have to do to stop this cycle. But all this information one gets from Shabda Brahmeti. In the Vedas, these sounds are very powerful because they are non-different from Krishna. Some of the sounds, actually in this world also, the sound is all pervading. Sound is present in the sky. In fact, the sound is the beginning of this creation. All the elements came from sound. Originally there was sound, and from this all the elements came. So in the sky there is sound, and then in the air there is sound. Air sound we can hear. With the sound, air is flowing at a very massive speed, you can hear. In the fire there is sound. That cut, pat, when the fire is there, you can see there is a sound. Water, obviously there is sound. they're called sonic sounds, and through those sounds only sometimes the ships or submarines, they communicate the sound, and when the water is flowing you can hear the sound. And in the in the grass wood there is sound. There is sound. Sound is all pervading, even in this world. But this sound, the material sound, for example, a radio station, there are many channels, radio channels, and there are TV stations. They are continuously airing sound into the environment, knowing very well that the sky or the air or whatever, they support travel of the sound. And if they cannot support, then they will have one more tower to amplify and then continue the journey. So we can see practically that sound is all pervading. But this sound has a limitation. It cannot cross. Hardly it can cross any cities. That's why you need amplification towers. But some sounds are so powerful, they can go beyond this earthly planet, and then they can probably go to other planets. Some sounds are there, but there is no sound which can penetrate the layers which are covering this universe. There is no such sound is available. Our universe is covered with layers of these physical elements. The watery element, then the air element, they're all covered. Universe is nicely packed, like a coconut. Inside there is a stuff is there. Outside you will see so many layers of this coconut peel will be there. There are so many layers are there. So it's a similar way. The universe is like that. So that sound cannot penetrate. It is only shabda brahmeti yam viduhu. The sounds which are depicted in Vedas, only they have the power to penetrate this, the universal manifestations. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Arjuna, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavajuna. This Veda, it contains only Traigunya Vishaya. The content of these three, Traigunya means three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo. That's all. These Vedas are having only these three. So Nistraigunya, you should go beyond these three. So in Vedas also, the sounds which can take you out of this world, they are there, but they are very confidential. The Vedas have that, those sounds are there, but generally when a person approaches the Vedas, he gets attracted by this Traigunya Vishaya Veda. It says you do some Chandramasa, Chaturmasa, some vratas, then you will be able to go to moon, planet moon, and then you can enjoy like this, you can enjoy that like that. So it plants the seeds for for the jiva to aspire. Yes, I have to go. The idea that we can reach to moon is coming from Vedas. The mankind has been aspiring to go to moon, but they don't want to follow Chatustoma or Chaturmasya, whatever. But an idea came from this, that we can travel to other planets. It is possible. So now, but this is, Krishna's verdict is that even if you go to other planets, still you have to battle with the regular problems of old age, disease and death. You have to struggle with all this. But there are some sounds which can take you beyond this Traigunya Vishaya. So, particularly that sound that is revealed to us by Lord Chaitanya is that he says, Shabdad Anavrutti. This is a Vedanta Sutra. There is one sound which has power to take us beyond this material manifestation. That's called Anavrutti Shabda. Avrutti means the sound that covers you with the Trigunyas. Like you hear, oh, there are some wonderful facilities in America, and then you decide, yes, I want to go there. This is Avrutti. You are covered by Trigunya. You are trying to look at some better material facilities. So these sounds we are regularly hearing. As soon as we hear some sound, we should know that it is covering us. These sounds and this content that we go on exposing ourselves to in the newspapers, in the TV channels, in the radio channels, they're all covering. Layer by layer it covers on our chitta. And as the coverings go on increasing, it becomes difficult to see the truth. Like in a mirror, if there is so much of dust, even if you try to see yourself, you will not be able to see because there are so many layers are there. Similarly, these sounds and pictures or whatever we go on experiencing and watching every day, they all put up a lot of dust on the mirror of the mind. Mirror of the mind, that is Chittam, that's a heart. The heart will be full of dust. And where are we accumulating this dust? Like every day when you travel in the roads, you accumulate a lot of dust on your body. As you come back and you have to take a bath. So similarly, the subtle body also accumulates a lot of negativity and dust. And the best source is the social media, the TV channels and the radio channels that we are watching every day, which are disconnected from Shabda Brahma, disconnected from Krishna. They go on building up this dust. And then as people are covered, they cannot see their own self. So science of self-realization means he has to accumulate. He has to be eager for a different quality of sound. The sound that can cleanse the heart, the sound that can cleanse the mind of all this dust, and then creates perception about our own self. It becomes obvious to him that as I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, I am Brahman. Now again, the Brahman word is used. So, the all-pervading Brahman that is there, and we are also known as Brahman, but we are the Jivas. So Mayavadis get confused. They think when this Brahman and that Brahman is same. So they try to equate the Jivas with the Supreme, with the all-pervading Brahman. But actually Vedas are, they're describing, particularly some Upanishads, they describe this all-pervading Brahman. But Vedas undoubtedly hint at the personal Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the personal Brahman, Krishna. He is known as the Parabrahma. He is not just Brahman, but he is Parabrahman. That is Krishna. We are also Brahman, but we are not all-pervading Brahman. We are only pervading within our body. And in this world, this tiny Brahman tries to expand by material expansion. So many things it does every day. go on wanting to expand, this enjoying tendency, create this, create that. It is also trying to expand, but the clarity is there in the Vedas that this jiva, this expansion is dependent on the Lord who is there in the heart. Is dependent on the Parabrahma. The Krishna has to help the jiva in order to expand. It will not be able to do anything in this world or in the spiritual world without Krishna's help. There is a beautiful prayer by Chitraketu to Lord Ananta. He directly sees Lord Sankarshan, Ananta, and then he explains that unless the Lord endeavors, we will not be able to endeavor. Actually, in all these verses we have seen how Krishna, in the form of Vishnu, he makes so many arrangements. Creates the world, creates Brahma, gives Vedas, so many things he is doing. So much of endeavor Krishna, Vishnu is putting. All those background arrangements are there. Now, did he left this world just like that and then he has allowed us to do whatever we want? No. He has placed us in this universe, but in every jiva's life, he is there every day, and in day-to-day basis, in every action, Krishna his endeavor is there. Krishna's endeavor is, Lord's endeavor is. How is it the Lord is endeavoring for us? That in Bhagavad Gita he explains that matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. 3 things Krishna does. Smriti, he gives remembrance. Suddenly somebody remembers, okay, I have to go now and I have to do. That is remembrance, smriti. Knowledge he gives how to do it. Forgetfulness also he gives. So that's an endeavor. So unless Krishna gives that intelligence to work, nobody can work. It is not possible. So that's why first is the Lord's endeavor, and then only we can endeavor and we can act on anything. No jiva can claim that, okay, at least I am endeavoring, so I am that much credit. Yes, that is there. Jiva has a ability to take initiative. He can have the drive to do, and seeing that drive, Krishna will help, particularly for devotee. Then you may say, Krishna is helping every jiva to endeavor, then what about devotees? What is speciality? Devotees also he is doing the same endeavor, and karmis also is same thing? No. For devotees he does one additional function, and that is called Chaitya Guru. He becomes a guru also. And then he instructs him how, while doing his services, he can still remember him and then come back to him. Whole Bhagavad Gita's message is, remember Krishna while doing your duty. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yuddhacha. Thinking of Krishna always, that is the essential principle. And never forget Krishna. That's all, only one sentence. Various duties that we do, sadhanas we do, tapas we do, everything is meant to remind us about Krishna. If our tapas is not reminding Krishna, then that kind of a tapas is not very pleasing. Of course, in the beginning, we have to do tapas and fasting on the order of spiritual master. Although when we are fasting, we cannot remember Krishna or anything else, only stomach and hunger. But still we have to do, because you are following his pure devotee, Krishna is pleased. So, like that, Lord is very kind to the devotees. He does this. He removes the ignorance from the devotees' heart. As soon as Arjuna heard that Krishna is going to remove the ignorance from the hearts of his devotees, Arjuna says, Parabrahma, Parandhama. He comes to a conclusion. He is not an ordinary personality. He may be standing in front of me like a charioteer, but who can be there in the hearts of all the jivas, and particularly for his devotees, remove the ignorance, jnana deepena, using the lamp of shining light, I remove the ignorance from the hearts. As soon as Arjuna heard, he said, Parabrahma, Parandhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhava. Who can purify unless he is Pavitra? So Krishna is most Pavitra. And then he is Parabrahma. He must be, because I am Brahman, I know. Arjuna knows that he is Brahman, but here he is Parabrahman. Why? Because he is all pervading. He is greatest. Para means greatest. Now this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. The ultimate Brahman is not just impersonal force. Yes, that is also there, but is a personality. That beautiful conclusion comes in this Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. As soon as Krishna spoke those 4 verses, Arjuna becomes, with great art and awe and reverence, he comes to the conclusion that, my Lord, you are Parabrahma, Parandhama, complete shelter of all the living entities, Pavitram. So this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas. Real Shabda Brahma means Krishna, that's all. One word. The Vedanta means one word, that is Krishna. In one word, the whole Vedanta is being fitted in, and that is Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, Krishna came in a Acharya form, a devotee form, and Lord Chaitanya gave the Shabda Brahma which can take us out of this material manifestation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Golokera Premadana, Harinam Sankirtan. The Acharyas have confirmed that this sound, this is actually descended from Goloka. It has descended from Goloka and enters into the sound that we produce and then becomes a Shakti Avesh avatar. And when we associate with that avatar which is there in this world, one should get very, very attached to this Shabda Brahma. Become attached to holy name, attached to the books that Srila Prabhupada has given. There are some so-called devotees, even apparently practicing Krishna consciousness. They think that if the Guru is not physically present, then there is no Shabda Brahma in his tapes. The question is, when we hear Prabhupada's tapes, audio or video, whatever, that sound that we are hearing, is it Shabda Brahma? It is Shabda Brahma. During Prabhupada's time only, Prabhupada said that you give Gayatri thread and make the candidate to hear my Gayatri sound, which is there on a tape. So, if there is no potency in that sound, if it is not Shabda Brahma, which is descending from spiritual world, why would Prabhupada say that? That voice of Prabhupada is not belonging to this world. That's a mistaken concept. Prabhupada's that sound, that voice is transcendental. That voice is spiritual sound. So his books, his tapes, they continuously give opportunity for us to be in touch with the Shabda Brahma. Nobody should think that Prabhupada's voice is material. Those tapes are material. Very offensive. So Prabhupada is living in his books, in his tapes, in his deity form. He is living. In his organization, he is living. So since he is living, he can be the Diksha Guru. Where is the problem? Somebody who is living can give diksha. So this simple understanding, fortunately, the devotees know. Some devotees they know, and then so such devotees, they should get very very attached to the Shabda Brahma available in Prabhupada books, in his lectures and tapes, and one should somehow develop attachment to chanting this Hare Krishna, the sound that can take us back to Goloka. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 91